the longtime Green Bay Packer, Georgetown, Texas's very own Mason Crosby, here on the home of the Cowboys with Shan, RJ, and Bobby, 105.3 The Fan. Good morning, Mason. How are you, man?
Good morning. I can't believe they allow y'all to play that on Dallas airwaves.
Well, Jerry tells us what to do and what to play, so we just follow his instructions, as you may have heard.
Just do what Jerry says, right?
How often do you make it back ever to Georgetown or just in Texas?
Oh, man, all the time. My parents and my sister still live down there in Georgetown, so my mom runs an organization called The Locker. My mom and sister are both running that organization. They've been doing that for a long time, and I'm still very present there in Georgetown. And then my brother actually moved from Nashville, what was that, last March, there to the Dallas area. So, yeah, nice. We are well connected, and I love getting back home to Texas.
And he is also hosting for our sister station, The Fan, Odyssey station, the Mason Crosby Show, Monday through Friday, 9 to 11 a.m. Now, I'm going to ask you this same question I asked Pat.
Hey, I do have to correct you on that one. We just moved times, so we are actually 12 to 2 now.
Oh.
So, yeah, we just had a shift in our whole lineup there at the Fan in Wisconsin.
Okay.
So. Added some pieces, going full time 6 to 6 with local stuff. So yeah, now I'm going 12 to 2 and just having a blast. Kind of coming to the dark side, the media side of things, but still getting to talk ball and be around it, which is a lot of fun.
Now I'm going to ask you the same question I asked Pat McAfee, and he got a little butthurt about it because Pat's a little sensitive. All right. Now, as a kicker, how much did you break down football while you played and then overcoming that stigma, right, in order to talk it Monday through Friday in such a football passionate city and state that you're in? Your football breakdown ability was and is what, and how much did you have to overcome that kicker stigma to talk it every day?
Yeah, I think you're always kind of breaking that down. And I talked to someone the other day too, Jay Feely, has been in that space, and he's like, you just have to relate things back to what you know best, and try to connect in that space. Luckily, I played high school football in Texas and played free safety and wide receiver, so I do know ball a little bit in that actually playing form. And then, I had the best seat in the house. And I got to watch Aaron Rodgers. I got to watch Brett Favre for a year. And, I'd pick their brain and, just kind of figure out honestly what we're doing offensively, on a week-to-week basis. I'd sit in meetings sometimes. We'd go in there with offensive linemen. I always made sure I was great friends with the O-linemen, for a lot of different reasons. They protected my butt there on the field, and and then it was just always fun, hearing their perspective and talking ball, and seeing how some of those guys are just, they're the big enforcer, guys on the field, kind of taking over, and then there's some of those guys that, the offensive linemen are puking before games and are like the most nervous, going into stuff. So I always love the nuances of the locker room and all those things. So. If I don't know exactly, what's going on in a moment on the field, if I can't break it down exactly like a quarterback would, I definitely I've watched a ton of ball, talked football my whole life, and love sports, love this game. It's honestly been fun also talking about, the Brewers, who are having a great season, and I get to talk, Milwaukee Bucks, and unfortunately we have to talk about the Wisconsin Badgers and what they're doing right now, but. Yeah, it's been a fun journey, and I love still being able to be around the sports.
Mason Crosby here on 105.3 The Fan. Okay, your initial reaction to the Micah deal, on whether maybe you thought the Cowboys got ripped off, and initial impressions of Micah on and off the field there in Green Bay.
Well, I mean, from your comment, I know how you feel, but yeah, I think honestly, it's a once in a lifetime opportunity, and I was shocked. I was shocked that the Packers were a team that were going to be in a conversation, and that I mean, I'm not shocked with anything there in Dallas and with Jerry Jones, but that he would send his best defensive player, probably best player on the team potentially to the Green Bay Packers, who have kind of, had the Cowboys number here for the last, since that 2016 game, or before that. Shocking moment. Packers fans have been riding that high now for 3 weeks. I guess 4 weeks now, and just the energy and the excitement that he brought to that locker room. Just it seems palpable. I mean, he says all the right things. He does all the right things. It's kind of refreshing there in Wisconsin to have somebody from another organization, a different type of place, where they come in, they kind of speak their mind, and they say what they're feeling, and they're used to the spotlight and all those things. Because sometimes there in Wisconsin, you find yourself in a little bit of a bubble up there in Green Bay, kind of removed from the entertainment side of the NFL. And so I feel like a guy like Micah Parsons, Josh Jacobs brought that last year when he came to the team. So they're kind of building something different up there in Green Bay than it probably was whenever I played. It was almost like, hey, we go to work. We don't say anything to the media. You keep everything really close to the vest, and just kind of let your performance on the field do the talking. And now I feel like we're hearing more voices out of Green Bay, and it's really refreshing to hear those different perspectives.
Talking ball with Mason Crosby here on 105 Through the Fan. Mason, the big loss to the Browns last week. I don't want to say collapse. I mean, it was a 10-point game, and there was just one turnover basically that occurred, and then the missed kick. But when you see that game, is there anything coming out of that Cleveland game that is concerning long-term to Packers fans right now? And they're saying, man, this might have exposed something, or is everybody just kind of writing it off to like, that was kind of a fluky ending?
Yeah, that's a great question, because I think it's we've been talking about it all week, obviously, and I think the one thing you can point to offensively is running the ball better. That offensive line, I think, when healthy, whenever they are full on, have their whole starting lineup, they are a really good offensive line. But all of a sudden, you start Zach Tom, he gets hurt first play, which there's a lot of questions on why was he playing if he can't even get through a play where there wasn't anything significant that happened and he couldn't keep going. But I think that offensive line just has to find some cohesiveness, get back to the run game that they had last year with Josh Jacobs. And then, if you're not able to just go straight at guys, do what the Lions do and some of these creative offensive teams, and find ways to just get the ball in your playmakers' hands and control that clock, because the elite defense that the Packers have right now, I mean, it's special to watch. I mean, they haven't had a defense like this for a very long time, as long as I can remember. And so to think that if they keep teams to 13, 14 points a game, the Packers should be able to do and be efficient enough on offense to score 21-plus points and win most of these games. So I think the biggest thing is just finding that rhythm, getting Jordan Love going. He's had a fine year. One mistake on that interception, in a critical situation, like you said, the missed field goal. I think you look at that Browns game and you say maybe the Browns aren't as bad as everyone thought. They have an elite defense as well, really good. They controlled the ball better, didn't turn it over, didn't make silly mistakes, and made the Packers work for it. Packers had a chance to win, but I do think offensively they just need to be more consistent, eliminate penalties, be better in that O-line, and just try to run that ball more efficiently than they have these first 3 weeks.
Mason, when you came in the league, the kicking game was a little bit different. I mean, it was like, now it's 60-yarders. Everybody can kick a 60-yarder. Yeah. And I know this may be like asking a golfer if you should narrow the fairways, but these guys they got such a big foot. They're so accurate now. Should they maybe narrow the goalposts a little bit if these kicks get so
everyone
easy?
Wants to mess with the kickers. It's we do everything for the offense to score more points, and then the kickers start getting a little love and have big legs, and it's like, well, let's make it harder on them. let's make it harder on the kickers. So it's impressive, and there in Dallas, y'all have one of the most impressive. I mean, Brandon Aubrey is unbelievable. Like if you want to talk about weapons on a football team, I mean, he truly is a weapon for the Dallas Cowboys. And Jerry Jones, all the stuff, you get rid of Micah Parsons, but hey, you need to pay that man because he's going to set a new market for what kicker's worth is just because of his ability to shorten that field. I mean, you're literally talking about probably when I came into the league, you were hoping to get 35-yard line, anything from 50 to 55. I think the expectation was, that's probably a 50-50 proposition, maybe 60-40. And then anything over 55 was like, man, good luck. Like, hopefully we make it, and we're really excited if it goes in. And that has changed. I mean, I think the expectation inside 55, you need to be 90+%. And then outside 55, you need to be 75%. I mean, you got to make 3 out of 4 kicks in that range all the time. And so it's fun to watch. I look back whenever I was younger, it's like, yeah, I could definitely kick the ball, that far. I could hit 65, 70-yard, kicks. But the fact that they're putting these guys out there and the expectation is they have a real opportunity to make those kicks, it's fun to watch. And now with the new kickoff rules, I mean, what do you got to get? You got to get 15, 20 yards, and you're in field goal range. So it's exciting times, and I think you're just going to keep seeing bigger and bigger kicks happening in critical moments to try to win or tie ball games.
Where's Brandon Aubrey in the GOAT discussion?
Man, already just in a short time, I mean, he's got to be up there. I mean, it's crazy the amount of big kicks, and these kicks. He kicks long kicks, and he kicks them in critical situations. I mean, the one to tie the game the other day, that 64-yarder, was just unbelievable. So it's not like it's just like, we'll throw him out there into half or, in some, kind of trash time situation. I mean, he's hitting big, long field goals in critical moments. And so, I mean, as of right now, if I look at across the league, I mean, he is my top kicker on every board. No real question about it right now. Like he's been exceptional.
Mason, Mason Crosby joining us here on 105 through the Fan. Some has been made in recent weeks about these K balls that you guys didn't typically get footballs until, just before game time. Now they're being given 60 footballs at the beginning of the season that they can start with the training camp. How much of a difference does that make in some of the explosion we've seen in terms of distance on these kicks?
Yeah, you want to get some kicker sensitivity, I'll give you some right now. I mean, come on. Like, we've begged for that for years, It's like the quarterbacks get footballs and they can break them in and y'all just check them out. Like, why can't we do that? Like, it's insane to think that you are depending on somebody to win a game, make every kick, do all these things, but you have like we would have an assistant equipment guy breaking in a ball. Basically, usually it was like the low man on the totem pole there in the equipment staff would break in our footballs before a game. And honestly, they worked really hard. I loved them. We got them dialed in, but it's just like to expect somebody in that situation to get a ball prepared in 45 minutes straight out of the box to go out there and give somebody the best chance to win a game is just kind of crazy in a type of business that the NFL is, right? So I think it's good. I'm glad they finally changed the rule. One win. We got one win for the kickers. We got those K-balls figured out, They're helping us there. But that's going to change whenever percentages are through the roof and these guys are kicking these 65-yarders. Like you said, they're going to narrow the uprights. They're going to change the ball back. You actually can't break them in. You're going to have to kick them brand new out of the box. I feel like the rules committee they can't change any more rules, so they just mess with the kicking game.
Are you anticipating a beatdown Sunday night?
Well, I mean, obviously, the Packers, like I said, have had the Cowboys number, and unfortunately, a lot of times they're in AT&T Stadium in Jerry's world. It's gone pretty well for the Cowboys or for the Packers in recent history. So, I expect the Packers to bounce back from that game against Cleveland. It's one of those losses. If I am the Cowboys, I'd be a little concerned because it's like, okay, obviously the Packers have an elite defense. If they get that offense rolling and can find ways to score points, which unfortunately Dallas's defense now without Micah Parsons is looks a little average to say the least. But yeah, so if Packers offense can get this thing rolling, it could be a tough night for those Dallas Cowboys fans.
Great stuff, Mason. We appreciate it, man. Congrats on the new time slot, sleeping in even later, and keep it going there in Wisconsin. We appreciate it.
All right, really appreciate it, guys. And yeah, let's hope for a good, just a fun, exciting game on Sunday night.
Yeah.
But ultimately, with the Packers win.
No, all right, you could have stopped right there. Don't come back to Georgetown. Mason Crosby on the D&M Leasing Hotline here on Shan and RJ.